Hey y'all, so today we are going to be going through the new changes. There are some updates, and I will also be updating you on the parole program because, again, that is new, and we're still trying to get information on it, on what it means, what you're going to need to do, all of it. So, like I said, have my notes. Let's get into it. If you are new here or you don't know who I am U.S. immigration attorney Lillian Chukura, and I help my clients get green cards and citizenships for themselves and their families using the U.S. immigration law system. So, because I know that the majority of you have a question about the new parole in place program, I am going to start with it, okay? Because it is one of those things that there's so many questions. I have questions. We don't have answers to the majority of the things that we need in order to actually apply for this. But we are getting some new updates of when we will actually get the information and why there's a delay in getting us the information we need. So just know we're going to go through that. So for the parole in place program, which is something created by the Biden administration to help spouses of US citizens that entered the US without inspection and have been physically present in the US and residing in the US for at least 10 years as of June 17th, 2024. Okay, so that is the date. June 17, 2024. If that is you, then listen up, okay? First thing you need to know is the program is not active yet. You cannot apply for it yet. Okay, we are still waiting to get the information that we need to know what forms you need to file, how much it's going to cost, and where to file the application. So we're still waiting on all of that. So as of today, you cannot file this application because we do not know where to even file it. And just so you know, as I'm going through these, if you have questions, put them in the comments because I will be looking at those and answering your questions as I go along. So do not be worried if I don't answer your questions right away. It's just I want to get through these, but I will be answering your questions. So we don't know the details, but what we do know is that August 19th is the date, right? We know that is the date. They said that they will start accepting applications. August 19th, 2024. However, we're still waiting for it to be published in the Federal Register, which is basically they have to publish it there and give us all the details. Without the publishing, we don't have any details. But what we are learning now is those details are probably going to come out either on August 19th or right before August 19th. So it's not going to be like soon. It's not going to be this week. So it's probably going to be either a few days before August 19th or on August 19th. And the reason for this is, so typically when an administration makes a change, a policy move, they have kind of 60 days before they have to publish it. And their August 19th is that 60-day period. Okay, so there's some legal things going on in the background. That is the reason that it's taking time. So it's not that it won't be published. It's just they want to make sure that they're doing it in a way that is legal, right? They have to follow the rules that are in place. We will like a preview, right? Not publish it officially, but a preview will be nice. But until we have that, we can go with what they have already told us. So August 19th, that's the date we need to, it should officially be published and applications will start being accepted. So because someone asked me this before, what if I fill out the forms and send it to USCIS, on August 16th for it to get there on August 19th? Is that okay? Well, here's the thing. You don't know which form to fill out. You don't know how much the filing fee is. And thirdly, you don't know where to mail it to. Because for each application that you send to USCIS, there is a filing location. There's a place where you have to send your application to in order for it to be processed. And if you send it to the wrong location, it's not only going to delay your case, but they may actually reject the filing and send it back to you, which means you have to start all over again. So please, 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 okay, if you hear nothing else, do not file anything. Do not send anything to USCIS at least until August 19th that we get all the details. All right. Hopefully we get all the details before then so we can have applications ready to go out on that date. But if August 19th is the date, you want to make sure that you are following whatever that standard is. What are the rules? Where do you send it? And what are the fees? We don't know yet. But what we do know is what documentation you can prepare ahead of time to help you once everything is known and we can start the application process. Okay, you need to, if you want a detailed listing of what those documentations are, you can watch my live video, the last one, where I went through what the requirements are, right? What kind of documents you can start putting together, especially for the 10 years of physical presence. Because remember, not only do you have to show that you are married to a US citizen on the date, June 17th, right? You also have to show that you had 10 years of physical presence, and gathering 10 years worth of documents can take time. So you want to make sure that you are already getting those together. Of course, proof of your relationship is going to be your marriage certificate and proof that you are legally you were legally able to marry your spouse when you married them. So for example, if you were married before, that you have a divorce certificate in addition to your marriage certificate to your current spouse. So these are very important things. I know people have asked me, what if you were a victim of abuse and now you are divorced? Is there any provisions for that? We do not know. Another question is, if you were a widow and your spouse passed away before that cutoff date, are you still qualified? We do not know yet. So once that is published in the Federal Register, I will be doing a more detailed video on what is the requirements, what can you do, who qualifies. Is it just people that aren't currently married to US citizens, or is there an exception for VAWA cases and for people that are widows and widowers, right? We don't know those answers yet, but once we do, I will be bringing those to you. The next thing I want to cover is just a couple countries where for TPS were extended and redesignated. If you watch my last live, I explained what that means. So when a country's TPS is extended, it means that if you already had TPS, you are now extended for another 2 years. So for these countries, they're extended for another 2 years. But when a country is redesignated, it means that not only do the people that already have it get to have it extended for 2 years, the new people that never had TPS before may now qualify for TPS and can apply a brand new application for TPS. Okay, so if you are from Somalia or Yemen, you're in this list. Okay, you can if you're from those countries and you have never had TPS, you may qualify to apply for TPS for the very first time. And once your TPS is approved, you can apply for a work authorization. So it is good things. All right. So for Somalia, the cutoff date is July 12, 2024. So that means that you have been physically present in the US on or before July 12, 2024. For Yemen, that cutoff date is July 2nd, 2024. So if you were in the US already on or before July 2nd, 2024, then you would qualify for TPS if you are from Yemen, and then July 12th, 2024 if you are from Somalia. So those are the two things the two TPS extensions and redesignations that came in the month of July. So yay. And then the last thing I want to cover is kind of a new some changes to the guidance that USCIS is going to be using for their acquisition of citizenship. Okay, this is for when a child automatically acquires citizenship, not when they not just applying for citizenship in the US, right? Not naturalization. I want to make sure that is clear, right? We are not talking naturalization here. We are talking specifically acquisition of citizenship through a parent. All right. So they had a few updates to their practice manual on this, just to give USCIS officers better guidance on how to make these determinations. Okay. So basically, it's saying if you filed for a certificate of citizenship and your case was denied, but you become eligible again because there's a change in how USCIS handles certificates of citizenship, you can file a motion to reopen that denial based on the current law. All right, so if you still fit in within the current law, you can go ahead and apply. So let's say, for example, the cutoff, you missed the cutoff for the last one, but you were still within the new one, right? As far as age is concerned, because most of this stuff, you have to meet the requirements by age of 18. And if you just missed that based on what the previous law was versus what the current law is, you may still be able to meet that requirement, filing a motion to reopen to basically have your case processed. All right, so as far as physical presence in the US, this is a big one, right? They wanted to clarify this because I've been telling my clients this, but USCIS policy was not uniform on this. So when you are filing like a certificate of citizenship, a certificate, a CRBA, right? Registering your child's birth abroad. Here's the thing. Most of the time, the parents' physical presence, people think you had to have been a citizen the whole time you meet that physical presence requirement. But USCIS is clarifying that for you to meet the physical presence requirement, you just had to have been physically in the US. Regardless of what status you were in, whether you had status or no status, your physical presence requirement for an acquisition of citizenship, so basically to give your child citizenship, your status does not matter. Okay, so let's say you were in the US for like 5 years, and for that 5 years you did not have for 2 of those 5 years you did not have any status. You got your green card on the 3rd year, and then on the 5th year, you got your citizenship. For most people, that's 5 years of physical presence in the US, and that's enough, right? It's not just looking at your physical presence while you were a citizen. And I tell people this all the time, but they're still scared. And I'm so glad that USCIS took the time to update their manual and clarify this. So you still have to be a US citizen, right? Your physical presence does not have to be while you're a US citizen. Okay, so don't delay applying for the CRBA or the certificate of citizenship, because you can use your time as a permanent resident to show that physical presence, your time when you had no status to show that physical presence, okay? And then one thing I do want to mention with all of this stuff is you want to make sure that you are looking at the current rules. Okay, USCIS wants to make sure that you understand this, right? When you are applying for a certificate of citizenship or CRBA, you are looking at the law at the time your child met the requirements. Okay, so you don't want to just apply thinking that your child is a US citizen when they actually are not. So I'll give you a quick example. I had someone ask, actually in YouTube world, someone asked me this. I just became a citizen and I already filed for my child, but now that I'm a citizen, can I do a CRBA for them? The answer to that is no, right? They can't acquire citizenship from you because you were not a citizen when they were born. So the rules of the time when they were born still applies. All right. So you want to make sure that you are following the rules and looking at the requirements and making sure that you meet all the requirements, because guess what? With a lot of these things, you are paying a filing fee. There is a delay in processing times, okay? So you may end up waiting for something that will never happen because you did not qualify for it. And if you are in a process where you're trying to apply for green card, citizenship, a waiver, whatever it is, and you want to make sure that you actually do qualify for it and seek help in applying for that thing, feel free to reach out to me. You can schedule a strategy session. We can talk about what you qualify for and how I can help you with that process, okay? So do not be afraid to ask questions. All right. You don't want to be in a position where you file the wrong thing or you don't meet the requirements already and you file and then your application is denied and you have to start all over again. You don't want to be in that position. So go ahead, schedule a strategy session with me. And you can do that by going to my website, lilylegal.com, and clicking on contact us, and you can pick the date and time that you want to meet with me and we can have a conversation about your case. If you want to call, you can also call my office at 508-443-1788. Now, just to recap, as far as the Parole in Place program, we do not have the details yet. We know that August 19th, 2024 is the date that we're given of when this will become active, but we do not have the details of what form to file, where to file the forms, or how much the forms are going to cost. All we do know is that there are certain documentations you should start getting together, especially documentation showing 10 years of physical presence in the US. Okay, that's really important. You want to make sure that you have that showing 10 years of physical presence. If you want to know what type of documents that you can use to show that, watch my last live where I break it down for you, what the requirements are and how you can meet those requirements, what kind of documents you can use to show that, including documents that just refer to you, right? If your children are in school and you can get their school records showing that you are a parent there, that can, even though it's not your records, it's your child's school records or your child's medical records, the fact that you are named as the custodial parent, that you are the one that brought your child to the appointment, that shows that you were physically here. So you have to be creative, especially if you've never filed a tax return or had a W-2 or things like that. You have to be creative and look at all the possibilities. And like I said, if you want help in being creative, please go ahead and schedule that strategy session so that I can help you with that. The next two things, TPS for Somalia. If you have been in the US since July 12th, 2024, and you have never had TPS and you are from Somalia, go ahead and apply for TPS, okay? So on or before July 12th, 2024. For Yemen, it's on or before July 2nd, 2024. You can get TPS. If you have never had it, if you have had it, you need to renew your TPS, okay? Redesignation means that new people can apply. Extension means that if you already have it, you can apply to renew it. All right. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. If you have questions, put them in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay and you have questions, please, please, please put them in the comments. I do go back and respond to your questions. I know how important it is to have me actually go back and answer your questions, because I know most people don't may not have the time to schedule that free strategy session. And also know that when you ask questions here, I'm going to give you a general answer. It is not legal advice because you're not my client, so I can't really do that. But when you schedule a strategy session, I can actually look at your specific information, documents, whatever it is, to give you proper guidance on what you can and can't do. And like I said, the strategy session is 15 minutes and it is free. All right. So take advantage of it. Ask me questions, especially when things are changing in the immigration world. You want to take advantage of these free sessions so that you can know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and how you can get to your immigration goals. Thank you so much for joining me. I do not see any questions. Remember, put them in the comments. Once again, I am Lillian Chukura. I'm a US-based immigration lawyer, and I help my clients get green cards and citizenships for themselves and their families using the US immigration law system. Oh, great question. So I was about to close out, but there is a question. So let's answer this question first. My mom is already in the US. How can I file to get her green card? So it depends on how she came to the US, right? If she came to the US with a visa or with parole, you and you are a US citizen, right? Those two things need to be there. She has to have had a legal entry into the US and you are a US citizen, then you can file a relative petition with the green card application in order to get her a green card, okay? Like I said before, if you would like help with that, go ahead and schedule that strategy session with me. But the requirement is that legal entry and you are a US citizen. And it looks like you are both of those. So you can go ahead and file that relative petition with the green card application, as long as, again, I can't give you actual advice to say like she definitely qualifies, but generally that's what it is. Okay. So what's the name of the forms? So I do have videos where I break those down, but quickly, it is the I-130 for the relative petition and the I-485 for the green card application. And then with the green card application, you also need the affidavit of support, which is the I-864. Please read the instructions. If you're going to do this on your own, read the instructions. Make sure you're including all the required documents, because if you miss any documents, you are going to end up delaying the process. And applications for parents are one of those that can be approved fairly quickly without an interview. So when done how USCIS wants it, it can be approved without an interview. So keep that in mind as you are going through that process. Really important. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Kev. Like I said, this is kind of my passion. So when it comes to immigration, I want to be that place where you can come and get answers and find out what is going on in the immigration world, because like I said, it's always changing. And when me and my family were applying for our own immigration process, we did not have anywhere to go to get that information. So I want to be that space for other people. All right. So I do not see any other questions. Thank you all so much. Put them in the comments if you watching this in the replay and you're like, I have a question. Put it in the comments. I do go back and respond. And it is really hot in my office today, so excuse me. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. I have some weekend plans to go to an African festival here where I live. So I may post some things from that. Um, but have a great weekend, and I will see you next week for more for a live. And we are going to be starting a series on the green card, marriage green card process, right? What that looks like, what it is, what forms you need, and also the perfect recipe, right? What is the perfect application recipe for a marriage-based green card? So that's just a preview of what you have to look forward to in the next few weeks. So yeah, thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.